Good morning, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters. It's so delightful to be back here again. This is which I have to say, because we've been away for quite a long time due to the MCO. But today, which is the third Sunday, I believe, we can gather back here in Nalanda Center, which is already cause for joy. So let us be happy that we are here, back here again. Although we are small in number, I would like to acknowledge the online community out there, which are also with us to listen, to participate, and also to learn something from the sharing of this wonderful Dhamma. So today, we continue our discussion on the six well-beings. And the six well-beings are not just specially for Nalandians, it is for everyone. Because when we are well in our being, we call that well-being. And when we are well in our being, in all the important aspects of our life, we will feel satisfied, we will feel secure, and we will feel very happy. So one of these is, as mentioned just now, and also up on the screen, is family well-being. And this is very important as well, because the family are the people that we know being born into that group. The family that we know are not people that we choose, but we can choose in a way when we get married whom we want to marry. But the important group that we are born into, our direct family, we do not choose. So we have to understand our relationship with them. Because no matter what we do, our link with them cannot be cut, cannot be severed. So we have to understand how we can maintain good relationships with the members of our family. So in family, I shall discuss the family we are born into, as well as the family we develop. By that you can understand. Family we are born into, which is our direct family, and the family we develop, which is we get married, we take a spouse, and then we give birth together to children. So that is our family. This is the family that we give rise to, we develop. So that is our focus. The happiness, the comfort and security of the family. The family is the first group of people that we know, because we are born into that group. So we mix with them and we get to know them, and in very many cases, our understanding of how to interact with people comes from our interaction and understanding of our family. You know, we hear in China, for example, for many generations, I think at least 2 or 3 generations, families, husband and wife in China, were only allowed one offspring, one child. So this child, this single child, a whole generation of them, that means everybody that they would know, would have only one child. And so this child that goes to school, all their friends do not have brothers and sisters. Yeah, they only know what they want, who they, what are the things that they enjoy. And their friends would be similar. It's the same. Yeah, but I hear, of course, in the villages, in the really rural areas, they might have more than one child. But in the city, in the urban areas, they usually would have only one child. And when a child grows up being a single child, and mixing with other single children, there is a very strange dynamic happening, because they are used to getting their way. Their friends also are used to getting their way. So the interaction, they have to learn that how do you give and take? Because in the family group, they are not taught, to give and take. Now with their friends, they are taught that it is necessary. Maybe in school, the teacher tells them, now you must learn how to give and take. So it's a new experience for them. How do you learn this? And I have had, when I was working, I was teaching in a university. I've had students from China, and I observe them. And the way that they relate to others is very different from Malaysian students, who very frequently will have at least one brother, one sister, many, maybe more than one or two. So the way that they get close to people, the way that they form relationships and friendships, I think are slightly different. So that's the family. So we might come from big family, or we might come from small family. But whatever it is, they are the first group that we encounter in our lives. So therefore, we want to develop, want to experience happiness, comfort, and security when we go back to our families. We don't want to go back to a family that is full of disharmony. And if you think even, I'm going to go home now to my family that always argues and quarrels with me, there is no attraction to go home after work. You don't feel comfortable doing that. But if the family is your source of happiness, you will think, now I finished work, I've done what I have to do, I go back and I will be comfortable with them. And I will experience security with my family. So it's a source of well-being. It's important. And this is because, ourselves, as I mentioned, there is interdependence. I look after my family looks after me. So there is relational harmony. Between the members of the family, there is a relationship, and from that relationship, you find that there is harmony. So harmony means, there is a sense of peace and happiness and security, and you do enjoy being with this group of people. So in Pali, the word harmony in Pali is avirodha, means the smooth and pleasant functioning together of two or more parties. When we accept how our lives are connected, open ourselves to the contribution of others, harmony will be attained more easily. So it's a give and take kind of situation if we want to experience harmony. But the relationship between the members of the family also needs to be understood. And when we go right down to the core of it, the important relationship is with our mother and our father. That is the core. Because these two people bring us into the world. They are our closest beings to us. So if we do not understand, that's why I'm choosing to go right to the center of it, as a way of understanding well-being. So if we do not have the well-being in the relationship with our mother and father, that well-being is very fragile. It's not strong. You cannot rely on it. You don't feel that it supports you in whatever you want to do in this world, in your existence, in your life. Even when you want to have your family, you need your mother and father to support you. And then you feel, I am going forward in the world. I am advancing, I am developing in the world. So that support is very important. But very often, we don't consider our relationship with the mother and father. We take them very often for granted. They will always be there until they are not there. Then you realize, they are not there, I am alone, in this world. I lost my parents not that long ago. And it is said that as long as your father and mother are around, you will feel like a child. And true enough. But when I lost both my father and mother a few years ago, I started to think, no, I have to grow up. I must grow up now. Because I didn't feel grown up, really grown up, when father and mother were around. But now I have to take on the responsibility of really growing up and being able to be my own father and mother. I'm now my own. I have to think like my father and my mother. So I guess being grown up, I don't know whether you agree, is actually being your own father and mother. Do you agree? Do you agree with that? Something to think about. When people say, grow up, please. Don't be a kid anymore. That means this. I think that is my opinion. So, it is quite useful and beneficial to us to have some reflection on this relationship so that we can, excuse me, brother, it is not usual for us to point the toes forward at the Buddha. So please try not to point toes at Buddha. Parents are very important for our early development because they are the ones who take care of us when we are totally helpless. When we come into this world, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to look after ourselves. We don't know how to feed ourselves. We don't know how to be secure. So everything is given to us by our parents, either our father and mother. And in the Buddha's teachings, a very special place, a very prominent place is given to the position of the father, of the mother and the father. So in very many suttas, you might think that the Buddha gives teachings that are very, very deep and philosophical, and very intellectual. But when we actually take a look at it, the Buddha talked about the importance of parents in very many suttas. And one of those suttas is a very popular sutta we call the Mangala Sutta. So today I shall be drawing on a few suttas to try to present my ideas. The Mangala Sutta is very often chanted And in the Mangala Sutta, the Buddha very clearly, without any doubt, the Buddha said, to look after the well-being of your father and mother, the mother and father, is a blessing. It's a blessing to ourselves. It's a blessing. It's not a blessing just to them. It's a blessing to us to have the opportunity, to have this chance to look after mother and father. It's a blessing. Because people at that time wanted to know what is blessing. So some people say, in order to get blessing, you must get the sprinkling holy water. So you go and find the monks, sprinkle, 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 very, very happy. So they think that is blessing. So some people think that, doing all kinds of rites and rituals, burn this, burn that, they get blessing. So when they approach the Buddha for his teaching on blessing, he gave them quite a totally different perspective on getting blessings. So he said, do the right things for your life and you will get blessings. Blessings means you lead a harmonious life. You lead a very satisfactory and happy life. So in this way, the Buddha said, if you look after your mother and your father and you form a good relationship with them, you will enjoy blessing. You will be happy. You will be satisfied by the nature, by the flow of your life. So, a child, that comes into this world, they are usually trained by the parents, the mother and the father. They get a lot of skills. They get a lot of knowledge from the mother and the father. And this takes a long time. It's not just like, okay, I'll be responsible for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years maybe, after that I give you up. No, it takes years. Sometimes 20 years, sometimes even more, to be able to prepare this human being for his or her own journey in the life. So parents do that. Parents look after them. Make sure they know what is dangerous in life and how to avoid those dangers and how to find the good things in life. And they prepare them with education, knowledge, etc., etc. So these are actually economic burdens taken on by our parents. They put in the financial requirements for us to reach the stage that we are in right now. So there's a lot being given by the parents to a child or to a number of children. And they do this usually happily and very willingly. They want to do it because, they love this child. And so because of that, because our parents have given us these things, the care, the time, the effort, the worry, we owe them a debt. There is a debt that we owe to them. And therefore, one of the ways the Buddha said, if you put the mother on right shoulder and the father on left shoulder, and you tend to their every need until the end of their life, the Buddha said, you still cannot repay that debt. You cannot. But today, of course, it is not putting father on the shoulder. It is a mental responsibility. It is not actually carrying. It is thinking, how can I carry them in this life? How do I take it upon myself? Because they have made my life comfortable, how do I now being matured, yeah, being independent, how can I make their life comfortable? All right? So, yeah, and we see that, you know, parents are very willing to take care of the child, not just human parents, even animal parents are willing to take great care of their offspring at the risk of their life. You know, you go and switch on the TV and you watch. How many times, I've seen recently on YouTube, a mother chicken with the little chicks fight off an eagle. It's an eagle or a bird of prey, is a hawk maybe. So this eagle was coming for the chicks. And would you imagine a hen, fight off an eagle? It's dangerous because eagles are very powerful and very fierce. And I used to rear chickens, you know, a long time ago. They are not fierce. But when the eagle came for her chicks, this mother hen was very, very fierce. So they do it at the risk of their own lives. And we can expect that our parents also will do the same. Yeah? So there are some considerations here that people will bring up when we talk about parents. Let me tell you this story. I've told this story before. Yeah. This is the story of the Mahavihara. One day, this is told to be by the monks. A young man came in a car, opened the back door of the car. There was an old lady at the back, asked the old lady, please get out. And the old lady was crying, you know, and, you know, saying, don't do this, don't do this. But the young man was not listening, asked this lady get out and sit somewhere in the porch. And then he drove away. And the woman was crying, and the monks went to her and asked her, you know, what is happening? Who is that young man? And the lady said, he's my son. And then, why did he drop you here? He doesn't want to look after me anymore. So, brought me to the temple and just put me here, yeah, expecting the temple to look after the mother, because he doesn't want to, it's too much trouble to look after his own mother. Yeah, too much time, too much effort. I thought, you know, sometimes I see people, when they don't want the dogs and the cats, they drop them at the temple. So temple has, especially in the Thai temple where I used to live, a lot of dogs and not so many cats, because the dogs will chase the cats away, right? But a lot of dogs. But it seems now that if you don't want your mother, you can dump your mother in the temple also. Very easy. Ask the monks, look after my mother. I don't want anymore. So there arises this case of maybe some people saying, you know, my parents really didn't look after me. You know, they didn't do their duty. They were not responsible. Yeah. And there's a lot of ill will from the person towards their parents. Now we have to understand, as explained by the Buddha, a parent is not arrived at, you don't choose the parent by lottery. You know, okay, now you are the parent. It's not like that. There are karmic links through karma, that a person appears again, I would think, not the first time, to live with others. And so we have to consider that our parents have a very strong connection with us, and we with them. So it's not by chance that the parents bring us into this world. So therefore, we have to consider that very carefully. So one of the greatest thing, actually, that we can give to our parents is non-ill will. Of course, there are times when we can get angry with our parents because they brought us up so well. They give us this, give us that. When they don't give us that something, then I've seen children go into tantrum. I want. And sometimes even as they grow up, they are still throwing tantrums with their parents. But if we were to consider carefully, the best thing is not to have ill will to our parents. Must not have ill will. Because that breaks the harmony that we should have. In fact, for a mother or a father not to look after the child means that there is something missing. Not in the heart, but in the life. They are not able to look after this child maybe because they are poor. So they have to let go the child to someone else. And sometimes the parents of a child will suddenly pass away. And then you grow up without your natural parents. So it is, therefore, you cannot expect that every parent will be able to fulfill their duties to the child. Therefore, the important thing for us, and we should teach this to as many people as possible, non-ill will to the parent is highly important. Don't be angry. Don't hate your parents, even if something is missing from what you expect. And as the Buddha said, if we can look after them, if we lower and if we do have ill will, we get rid of this ill will to have love towards them and we look after them, that relationship will go on until they pass away. And then, if you have your own family, you will see the cause of well-being coming up from the family that you developed. Because how you behave will be the model for your own children to behave towards you. Because they are watching. How do you treat my grandmother will be how I will treat you next time as we grow older. Right? So therefore, develop this gratitude and this care towards parents, because it is a blessing. So as we go forward, it is also the cherishing of spouse and children. This is the family we choose, because we choose our husbands and our wives, and then we have our own offspring, our own children. So we develop that family. And the Buddha said, to have blessing means you look after them, you fulfill your responsibility with them, and that comes from the Mangala Sutta, which we chant very, very often. So, from another sutta, the Sigālovāda Sutta, which is very often quoted, there are clear descriptions of the relational responsibilities. And here, it is mentioned for a child looking after the parents, and the parents will be likened to the east direction, Yeah, because in ancient Indian society, and even now, the east is where the sun rises. So it is the first cardinal point. So in the teachings of the Buddha, it is the most important direction. So here the Buddha said, if you want to look after your parents, this is the way you should fulfill your responsibilities. Thinking, hey, having supported me, I shall support them, number one. I shall do their duties, meaning to say, whatever they want of me, it might be a family tradition or whatever, you will do what they expect you to do. Because it makes them happy to know that you are continuing their custom or their practices. I shall keep the family tradition. Yeah? So that means that whatever the family is used to doing, you will also do. Maybe you can do it until they pass away, then you can have a review whether you want to continue doing it or not. I shall make myself worthy of my inheritance. Yeah. Then I shall offer alms in honor of my departed relatives. So the Buddha said in the Sigālovāda Sutta, these are the 5 things, important things for us to fulfill. And then the Buddha gave advice for the children to administer their parents. The parents to administer to the children, Firstly, they restrain them from evil, from unwholesomeness. It is our duty to teach our children what is right and what is wrong, what not to do and what to do. To encourage them to do good. So tell them, these are the things that will sustain yourself, not just materially, but deep down inside. How can you feel happy and satisfied? When it is not just about enjoying the senses. How else can you be happy if you are not just eating, seeing, hearing, etc., etc.? And there are ways of being happy without stimulating our senses. So parents should do this. They train them for a profession. They arrange for a suitable marriage. I don't know today you can do that, but in ancient India, what it means is when your son and daughter have found a partner, you have to support them in this life. And at the proper time, you hand over the inheritance to them. Or it could be education. It could be some other form of helping them with investments, etc. So the Buddha was very clear in the reciprocal relationship between parents and children. But at the same time, you'll be surprised. He teaches husband and wife on what to do. Because I suppose, being a Buddha, he can see the important practices of a husband and as a wife. And some people say, well, he was married before he renounced. So he can draw on that experience. So the wife, the husband, the way to act to the wife is by being courteous to her, by not despising her. Don't get angry. Don't think, oh, you are below me or whatever it is. You cannot despise your wife. The ill will. There must be love and harmony and even loving kindness. It's not just love, it's loving kindness. Because the loving kindness is the state of mind that opens your heart. Love is what binds the heart. Loving kindness opens your heart. And with loving kindness, it's quite strange. With loving kindness, when you open your heart, you cannot be hurt. That is the nature of loving kindness. You love somebody until you lower your defenses. No more defenses. But that love means you can't be hurt. No matter what that person does towards you, you will not be hurt. But in love, when you fall in love, you expect things from the other person. Oh, you must do this for me. If not, you don't really love me, So there are all these expectations. But in loving kindness, it is open. It is accepting, kind of relationship. Then, by being faithful to her, of course, by handing over authority to the wife to look after the household, by providing her with adornments. And this is from Buddha. Buddha said, you must give her jewelry. You must make her attractive. Is it really from Buddha? Yes. The Buddha understood this, that women want to look good. So tell the husband, help her to look good when she goes out. Then the wife to the husband, you must perform your duties well. That means look after the children, look after husband, look after household, look after his property, etc. She is hospitable to relations and attendants. That means whoever comes to the house, she will be very polite and hospitable to them. She is faithful. And she protects what he brings. Whatever he earns, brings back to the house for the family to use. She protects that. She is skilled and industrious in discharging her duties. So these are the important, this is the advice that are important for parents, for husband, wife, and looking after children. And therefore, it's important, as I said, I'm jumping ahead of myself, there is morality in this relationship. There must be integrity in the relationship. And as I mentioned, there is loving kindness. Loving kindness, which is very accepting, non-demanding kind of wholesome state of mind. Now, because of the description, the family, the economic aspect is very important. And I would like to touch upon this before I end the talk. Now we have looked at the Mangala Sutta, we have looked at the Sigālovāda Sutta. Now let us look at the Dīghajāṇu Sutta for the conditions of welfare. And this is found in the Anguttara Nikaya, where the Buddha talks about the householders' welfare and happiness with relationship to the things that he owns or the family owns. So the Buddha mentioned to this man, Vyagapajja, or his other name was Dīghajāṇu. 4 conditions conduce to a householder, we are householder, welfare and happiness in this very life. Which 4? Buddha directly mentioned, described, the accomplishment of persistent effort, the accomplishment of watchfulness, good friendship, and balanced livelihood. And having wealth, the Buddha advised, the wealth thus amassed has 4 sources of destruction. Be very careful that what we own doesn't flow away easily and without any effort to keep them. That is through debauchery. Debauchery means you want to enjoy yourself until you don't know what is good and bad. Only thing is enjoyment of the senses. I just want it, I want it. For example, like gambling, like eating, for example, looking for partners. You just want to enjoy that until at the back, all the things that you own disappear. All gone. Yeah? And then suddenly you realize, in my search for my enjoyment, I haven't protected my property, what I've owned. Okay? Drunkenness, gambling, friendship, yeah, companionship, and intimacy with evildoers. So that means your friends are very important. You will be identified by the friends that you keep. So therefore, if you come here on Sunday, you have good friends. Don't worry. But if you go to places which encourage you to do wrong things on a Sunday morning, and I do know of people who will get up very early on Sunday morning and drive to that place up in the mountain to do their enjoyment. And when they come back, they have less than when they go up. Right? But they are so attached to it. My relatives also, they are like that. They keep thinking of, when can I make a trip up there? And it's not that they are rich. They are not rich. They have very small means. But the thinking is, how do I go up there? When can I go up there again? Yeah, in my own family, there are these people I can see. So they don't look after their children, they don't look after the house, but the great thing is the children turn out very well. They are quite intelligent, so they can find their own way in their lives. So here it is, yeah, persistent effort, the Buddha said. Yeah, watchfulness. Whatever you have, don't think that it is secure all the time. You must know how to look after the things that you own, right? So, and balance livelihood between work and between enjoyment. So some people work, no enjoyment. And some people enjoy, no work. It is not a balanced life, yeah, no livelihood. And the last bit is also, I would think, very important. And this is where the Buddha describes the loss of wealth of a family. So in the Kula Sutta, and there are a few, if you do search Kula Sutta, you will find that there are a few, because the Buddha was very concerned with a family not maintaining what they have as their wealth and their property. The Buddha said, when families don't stay wealthy for long, they are now perhaps very wealthy, but the wealth flows out, disappears, dissipates. No longer do they own it. It's always for one or more of these four reasons. And the Buddha understood this. And he asked, what for? So I left this for last because I thought it is quite important. Number one, they don't look for what's lost, a family. When they have lost it, they don't look for it. They would think, it's okay lah, never mind, let it go, not important. What the Buddha meant was, you have something very precious. You have something that adds to the name of the family, the standing of the family, perhaps. It might not be material. It might be the reputation of the family. Speaking of which, it's very interesting that recently in the UK, the Prince Andrew was stripped of all his military titles because he indulged in some activities that were not right. It was found out. If you're interested, you can go and find out more. But when the Queen found out that her second son had done these things, yeah, she cut away these titles from him. So he cannot benefit from such things. Therefore, these are the things that you can lose. Your name, your reputation. Once lost, you must go and look for it. Bring it back to the family. Bring it back to yourself. As in the case of the royal family in Britain, they cannot spare, they cannot let reputation be gone. Because there are people in the country who want to get rid of the royal family. They say very expensive to take care of one big royal family. So the queen has to bring back what is lost to protect her family. A very clear case of this. Number two, they don't fix old things. Things that can be fixed, can be used, can continue to be of benefit, they don't fix it. They think that, old, just throw away, never mind. But the meaning is, if there are things that you can fix, keep on using. Don't be such a wasteful person. Throw. Right? I recently moved house and I threw away a lot of things. Right? But that is a different case. We cannot take it with us to a smaller house. But what it means is they don't value the things that they own. They just say, no use anymore, throw. So they don't fix the old things. In an immaterial way, non-material way, it could be that there is something in the relationship, in the knowledge, in the skill, in the understanding of that family. They don't want to upgrade. They think that the old way will always be good. But it is not so. They must bring it up to modern standards. So they don't fix the old thing, and then they find the advantage that they had is no longer there. I've seen this in certain families. They were very successful doing this, and they never knew that they had to change. But when circumstances, time, changes, they don't upgrade, then they find their business going down. I've seen this very, very clearly. Then they eat and drink too much. I don't have to explain this. You cannot, as a human being, just keep on enjoying eating and drinking and only think about eating and drinking. They put an unethical man or woman in charge of finances, of property. That means the person who is in charge either not very clever or not very ethical, can cheat your money, can take away, steal from the family without the family knowing. And when it's all gone, the family suddenly realize this person who had looked after, they trusted so much, taken everything away, the family collapses. So it is very fitting. It is very true, what the Buddha, the advice the Buddha gave. So again, the Buddha said, when families do stay wealthy for long, it is due to these one or four, or of these four reasons. They look for what is lost. They fix the old things. They eat and drink in moderation. Eating and drinking is only one aspect. There's also enjoyment in other ways. This is what the Buddha meant. It's not just, the Buddha doesn't allow people to eat and drink. Especially for Chinese people, that is terrible. Cannot eat and drink. No, the Buddha meant you enjoy yourself so much you are not thinking properly. And this is what the Buddha meant. They put an ethical man or woman in charge. The right person is in charge of maintaining the family's wealth and status. When families do stay wealthy for long, it's always one or more of these four reasons. Kula Sutta, in the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of Force, Buddha described this. Yeah. And today, although it was taught 2,500 years ago, today it is still very relevant. And so, to have family well-being, we need these things. We need mindfulness. We need to know what we are doing. We need to be able to see and be alert as to what's happening within the family. Because if we are not mindful, we can say anything, we can do anything that we feel like doing, and this breaks the family apart. We need effort. You have to put in effort. You have to look after each other. It doesn't mean that, oh, you are my brother or you are my sister. You will be my brother and sister forever. No, you have to put effort into maintaining the good relationship. Once in a while, give a call, send a note. WhatsApp also good, how are you? What are you doing? I only have one sister, and she is in the US. But I try to keep up with what is happening in her family life. Yeah, she has a granddaughter, which she has a responsibility of looking after, right? So I do ask her, how is it in looking after this new addition? And patience. Patience, because nobody is perfect. Sometimes I think about marriage, You have two imperfect people trying to create a perfect situation. I want my marriage to be perfect, and the components are not perfect. We have our deficiency. We have our weaknesses. Not all the time, strong, good. No, but we want our marriage to be perfect. Must be wonderful, everything. So no, it's difficult if we are not patient with each other. Please remember that. After being married for so long, I can tell you, I can give you advice. When you go into this relationship, all you see is perfection. Then after a while, hey, not so perfect after all. Yeah. But you must also think, I am also not perfect. So therefore, I have to keep at it. So that, with effort and patience, the family unit, this important group of people, you maintain the well-being. Not easy, therefore, you need the mindfulness. You need to know what you are doing and thinking. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for so patiently listening to my sharing and also my jokes. So let us apply our effort. Be mindful. Be patient. Be also, caring towards each other to sustain harmonious family relationships, which we must understand. We sustain that relationship. It sustains us.